Hello and welcome to the Growth Handbook series. My name is Jacob. I'm software engineer at Meta. Previously, I was at Microsoft. I built a few products during my career and I spent over 2 years at Facebook Marketplace Growth Team. In this video series, I will share everything what I learned about growth. If you find this video useful, please hit the like button. This will give me a signal that this type of content is useful and I'll do more of it. Growth strategy number 2. Category expansion. Category expansion is introducing a new variety of your product. So it's a very broad strategy because it heavily depends on the type of your business. So for example, if you're selling t-shirts, the category expansion in your case could be starting selling hoodies or hats. But then when you do category expansion, you also need to analyze the pros and cons. You need to do opportunity sizing and you need to make sure that it actually makes sense to expand into the different category. Because usually category expansion is not free. So for example, if you're selling t-shirts and let's say you make $5 profit per t-shirt, and you did some opportunity sizing and you figure out that maybe 1 of 10 of all the people who buy my t-shirts will buy a hoodie. So then you look into that, but then you might conclude that I only get $1 of a hoodie. But if I expand to hats, I can make $10 per hat, and maybe even 2 or 3 out of 10 people who buy t-shirts will buy hats. In that circumstances, it's much better to expand to hats. But you also need to take into account the operational costs because, maybe producing t-shirts, you already have everything figured out, you have suppliers, everything is reliable. If you're expanding into hats, maybe to make new connections, maybe the new suppliers are not reliable, maybe, you'll lose some money dealing with them, or maybe there'll be some additional costs later on. So you need to take all of this into account when you're considering category expansion. So for example, if you're selling subscriptions, then the deal is a little bit different. So if you're, for example, selling subscriptions for individuals, in order to expand category, you can start selling to businesses. But then again, there's operational costs. There are different requirements for selling to businesses and individuals. There's also different way to sell. To individuals, usually don't have this one-on-one way of selling. Usually do kind of like a product growth way of selling instead of sales-led growth. So also need to consider pros and cons and consider whether you actually have experience and knowledge required to this category expansion. Well, maybe it's fine. Maybe you just want to explore new area. Maybe you want to see how it goes. And in that way, if you have the capacity, just go for it. When you consider, for example, cloud providers, AWS or Azure, you can see that they provide a lot of different services. And what they are doing, they are pretty much doing category expansion, because when they're selling virtual machine, they're selling storage, then they're selling containers, and they also selling virtual machines with Redis cache installed on them. So that's new category. Or maybe they're selling virtual machines with search as a service solution on them. And then all the people who would buy virtual machines and so on, maybe they'll also add search as a service to their service, right? So that's a category expansion. That's how you can grow your existing and also acquire new users. So again, category expansion is very, very broad, heavily depend on type of your business, but it's a very powerful way to grow. So now, call to action for you. What type of category expansion can you do for your product? If you made it that far, you probably found this video useful. If that's the case, please hit the like button. If you have any questions, please leave the comment. I will be very happy to answer. You can also subscribe to my channel to get notifications about new videos. If you want to learn more about growth, check out the links in the video description. You'll find there my recommended books about growth and link to my growth handbook.